Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sam, and welcome to a reading vlog. One that I haven't done one in a little while. Like, that's kind of themed, if you will. I've been trying to get more into the themed reading vlogs because then at least my brain has direction to go, rather than just always doing mood reading vlogs, because that feels like it gets boring pretty quickly. So today we're going to be reading library books. Now, when I say library books, I had a plan for this video originally. It was originally going to be me reading horror books from the library before Halloween. I didn't. I did not finish this vlog before Halloween. As you can see, it's now going up in November. But they are, for the most part, like horror mystery books. So we take that here. But that's what this is going to be. So I have 3 books that I have read in this video. Yes, I've already filmed the rest of it. And overall, this was a pretty solid reading vlog. And 2 of these 3, well, actually, 3 of these 3 books I do recommend as well. So that's exciting. But without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video because that's what you're here for. You're not here for me to just yap at you at the beginning. I'll see you at the end. So, as you saw, I started The Library at Hellbore by Cassandra Khaw. I did not realize this is the same author as The Salt Grows Heavy. The Salt Grows Heavy and Nothing But Blackened Teeth. I did not realize it's the same author. I am 36 pages in. I read that very quickly, and it's so good. I think I'm on like chapter 4, but like it's so quick. It's really enjoyable. I am going to fly through this book. I really like it. This follows a girl named Alyssa who she wakes up one morning at Hellbore, which is a school for those who would be things such as Antichrist, or the ones who unravel the chains of the demons, the Antichrist, Death Workers, the World Eaters, and Apocalypse Makers. They are all sent to this school, Hellbore, and while they're there, they are told that they will become these very respected people, and they'll be wanted in their communities again. And it starts with death, and it starts with murder, and it's very, very interesting so far. It has my attention. I'm picky about like any sort of school settings, but I read the description of this book and I'm so excited to see where it goes. It's not long. This one is only 273 pages, so it's not that long at all. Not even 300 pages, but I am very excited. I really love the writing style of this. I've also had to look up words already, which I also enjoy. I have a fascination with words, and I think it's a great way to expand your vocabulary, and we need to do that. That is a thing we should do. So, yes, I'm enjoying it so far, though. So, yes, library book for the win. I might actually, if I like this one as much as I think I'm going to, I may pick up a copy of it at some point. So, yes, that was my start, and I have my new sweatshirt on. But that's what I got. That's my update. Ignore all of the spots on my face I'm breaking out because I'm stressed out right now. Alright, I have officially finished The Library at Halbor by Cassandra Cow. Cow? Khaw? I believe that's how you say it, I'm not sure. It's late, that's why I'm talking quietly. I am going to go out and buy myself a copy of this book because this was incredible. It was gory, it was horror filled, it was paranormal, it was so interesting, and it was so beautifully written. The prose in this book had me at the beginning, and I absolutely love how it was written and how it all ended up wrapping up at the end. And I will definitely read more by this author. I know she wrote Nothing But Blackened Teeth. That's one that I see a lot of. And The Salt Grows Heavy. Is that what it's called? The Salt Grows Heavy. Those two I know are very popular at the library, at least, where I work. So that's exciting. Right now I'm sitting at about a 4.5 for this book. I absolutely loved it. I'm sorry, the glare is terrible because they put like, the library this is from, they actually, it's not mine, but they put like a plastic sheet over everything. So honestly, the book itself is in very good condition. You just can't see it because, yes. But I am going to pick myself up a copy of this book because I absolutely adored it. I shouldn't say I adored it. Let me try that again. I am going to pick myself up a copy of this book because it was amazing. It was so good. It was so well done. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I really, really did. And I feel like rereading it, I'm going to pick up more things, and I would love to reread this one again. So that's the first horror book for this like Halloween-esque horror reading library books. Down. What am I going to read next? Actually, I know what I'm going to read next. So, the next book I'm going to jump into is Strange Pictures by Uketsu. This is a Japanese mystery horror sensation. It does, from what I understand, according to my coworker, it needs to be read physically because you have to like jump around throughout it. Like there's pictures and stuff within the book. So I'm really intrigued. There's a second one out called Strange Houses, I believe it is. But this one, I believe, is the first one. So I'm going to start this one tomorrow. I'm going to read it while I'm at work. But yeah, that's my update. I think for this one, I think one of the reasons that I really feel like I need to get myself a copy of it, as I've mentioned, I'll notice more when I read. But I really think that I need to reread this book a couple times to really pick up on what's happening. Because even at one point near the end, the narrator even says, "I hope you've been paying attention." And I realize, like, I have been, but I don't think I've been paying attention enough. So I would like to reread this one. I'd like to go through it. I'd like to pick up on all of the references that I missed. And the ones that I found by the end, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense now. And I'm honestly a little obsessed with this book right now. So, and it's such a cool cover. I can't really show you the cover very well, but here you go. Like, it's just such a cool looking cover. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This is not a book for everybody. This is, like I said, very gory, very tense. And it's not a linear story. You do jump back and forth in timelines. You have present and then before, and then at the very end there's an after. So there's a lot going on, and honestly, like, I had to pause and reread a couple parts of this. This book took me longer to read than most this length would be because it's under 300 pages. So only like 273 pages. And it still took me it took me a while to read this book. Honestly, it took me about 2 days. But yeah, I honestly absolutely loved this. I think this was a very unique twist on the whole magical school trope. I think this is kind of the idea that I love about horror books and these kinds of books where they take a trope that is well loved but is overused in so many ways, like the magical trope, and it just turns it on its head and goes, well, let's see about this one. And you're just like, Interesting. And the fact that a lot of the scenes are discussed a lot, but you don't see everything happen is also so intriguing, and that I could still picture what was happening even when it wasn't like the plot that was being told. They were telling when this happened, and it's like, okay, interesting. And normally I get annoyed when people do that, but for this one it worked. It worked so well. I don't know why it worked so well, but I really did. And I've been in a terrible reading slump because I got married actually just a couple days ago. And this has definitely got me back into it. It took me a while to read, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Highly, highly recommend for any of you horror lovers out there. I know it's relatively new. This is saying it came out in August. I think it was August. I'll get back into the whole thing about talking about books again at some point. It's been a while since I've really sat and talked to people for a while about a specific book, so we'll get back into it. But like I said, next one's going to be Strange Pictures, and I'll let you know once I've started it. I'm gonna go to bed though because it's late. Alright, bye. Alright, I am officially 50 pages into Strange Pictures by Uketsu. So far, not a lot has happened. This is interesting. I didn't really know what to think about this. Like, I didn't really know what it was. I just had a coworker that recommended it for me. And don't mind my hair, I was laying on the couch, and so my ponytail is like, my bun is like way down and falling out, and just ignore the hair for now, I'm sorry. But I'm intrigued. I'm curious to see where it goes, because as of right now, I think it seems like there's a couple mysteries that are going on in this book. My assumption is that there's 4 different ones, because there's 4 general chapters in here, and we're on the first one, is the old woman's prayer. And so far there's 5 pictures that involve this picture of this woman right here, and it's basically 2 boys trying to figure out what the pictures on this old blog mean and what the last final post means. It's interesting. As of yet, I'm not that far in. It's not creepy. It's a little weird, but I'm not finding it creepy yet, so I'm waiting to see where the creepy factor comes in. But I'm intrigued. It's interesting. It's psychologically interesting. It's more of a psychological experiment than anything else so far. So I'm curious to see where it goes, honestly. But so far, not bad. Alright, so we're spending the weekend at a cabin up in the woods. Literally a cabin in the woods. The weekend before Halloween. Get all our stuff. Well, most of it's upstairs. But yeah, we're gonna go hiking. We're up in northern Wisconsin. So up by the Flambeau River. We're gonna go to the Schwamigan National Forest, but it's a national park, and national parks are currently closed. So, yes. John made huevos con chorizo this morning for breakfast, and it was very yummy. You're not on camera right now, it's just me. And I made coffee, and here he is. So yeah, we're gonna go hiking now. Not like big hiking, we're just gonna go little hiking.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of hiking. And then, I don't know what we're gonna do today, but we're here till tomorrow.
We'll figure it out.
We're just taking a short weekend away, so. And my mom is doing trick-or-treating at our house, because they bought too much candy for their house. So yes, there we go. but I haven't finished yet. So I'm gonna sit down and talk a little bit about, I haven't given you guys my wrap up for Strange Pictures yet. And I want to talk about, I did start another library book, this one from Libby. It is a book that I physically own here at home, but I decided that since I haven't taken the time to sit down and read it physically, let's try listening to the audiobook, and it's been an interesting experience so far. I'm not very far, and I am 12% into this audiobook. But first, let's back up and let's talk about Strange Pictures. I no longer have the books. I took it back to the library. I did not purchase a copy of it. What did I end up giving it? Let me just check what I ended up giving, like rating it. What was the rating for that one? Because I went into Strange Pictures thinking that it was going to be a horror book. I would not call it horror. I would have called it a thriller at best, a mystery most likely. And I did discover it is actually classified as mystery, not as horror, as I had been informed by a coworker of mine who said it was horror. It was not. For me, it was a mystery. It was interesting. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. This was a series of short stories that were interconnected by the end, and you basically ended up trying to solve the mystery of who killed this one person. And so it was really well done. It was very interesting. Unfortunately, I just felt like it lagged. It just kind of was slow for me. I found myself not quite as captivated as I wanted to be in this book. And so I can't fully say that I fully enjoyed it, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to like this one. There is another book that, there is another book that this author has written, and it's Strange Houses, and I've seen that one around as well, so maybe I'll pick it up eventually. It's not on my radar to read anytime soon. The window is only half blocked, so it looks like I'm glowing sometimes. But for now, it was fine. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it was fine. The new book that I picked up, I'm going to show you the physical copy I have. It is still technically a library book, because I have the audiobook from Libby, and that is Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. I'm not far in. Like I said, I am 12% into this book, and this book, it starts off very graphic, like incredibly graphic, and really disgusting, honestly. It was to the point, I actually had to pause the audiobook at one point. I had just eaten, and it was not a good time to listen to that book. So I am going to try and see if I can continue on with it. I got new headphones, which is very exciting. They're noise canceling JBL headphones. I saved up and got like legitimate ones. You may have seen my Beats ones that I have replaced the earbuds on a couple times now. So I decided it was about time to invest in a new pair. So yeah, I am still making bookmarks. I'm in the middle of a new shadow. It's gonna be a pretty night sky kind of thing one, and I've started a brand new big one that's Lord of the Rings themed. Can't you tell? All teal so far. Yeah, that's all that's been done on it so far. But I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook. And I'll update you, not today, but I'm hoping to have this video maybe on Wednesday. And maybe my vlogs will be Wednesdays instead of on the weekends. I don't know. I haven't decided. But we'll see what happens, and I'll let you know what I end up thinking about Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. So far, it feels unnecessarily gory. I know that is a political commentary. I am well aware about what it is talking about, especially in the United States, and I feel like it's even more so right now. But it almost feels unnecessary to a degree. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it may not be. I don't know. Again, I'm not far into this book yet so far. So we'll see, and I will let you guys know. So I just finished Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay. What's his name? Clay McLeod Chapman. I've been told that I am saying his name wrong. I apologize. I need to wrap my head around this book. I took some notes while I was listening to it, and I think the top note that I have is that saying that I enjoyed this book would be a lie. However, I couldn't really bring myself to put it down, especially audiobook. The audiobook was interesting, very well done. I listened to it 2 times speed, so it sounded like AI, unfortunately, but that's just how I listened to it. This book is absolutely brutal, and it is a political commentary, very much so, and I know a lot of people have talked about trying to keep political commentaries out of books, and I don't think you should. I think this book is a perfect example of why it should stay. Because while this book initially does make fun of just one political party, it ends up attacking everybody. Very much attacking, like, honestly, the country in a way. It is brutal. It is... Wow. It was interesting. It was a lot. It takes all the fears that everyone seems to have. And this can be seen right now in our own country. Like, our countries, there's a lot of shit going on that's really terrible. And it just brings it to the surface, infusing it with the body horror of this genre of horror. And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around some of the stuff in it. It hits closer to home than I think I expected it to. But I will say right now, this is not a book everyone should read. I think it has an important message, yes, but it is not a book for everyone. Because it is horror. This is true horror. Body horror is the biggest part of this. It is psychological horror. It is... like zombie almost to a point, but like it's very, very intense, and I don't like using that word. But I don't have another good word for it. Read this book at your own discretion, is what I will say for that one. Did I enjoy it? I'm not going to say yes to that, because I don't think I can say that I enjoyed reading this book or listening to the audiobook, but there's a lot of things in this book that made me incredibly uncomfortable, and they were supposed to. That is the point. And I think this kind of horror still needs to be out there. Still needs to be written and needs to be explored. And I probably am not a good person to do that. I'm not politically very active, other than I do work at a public library. This book was brutal. And that is in a good and terrible way at the same time. Honestly, I looked at the physical book itself, and there are endorsements on the back of the book. Those endorsements summarize this book so friggin' well. It's not a 5-star book for me. Again, because I didn't enjoy reading it, honestly. Will this book ever leave my thoughts? No. This book will always be in my mind. I will constantly think about it and about what it says. But I cannot say that I enjoyed reading it. I really just can't. I just can't. But what I can say, it's going to be between a 3.75 and a 4-star. It's somewhere around there. I'm going to need some time in order to absorb it and figure out how I feel about it. Oh my goodness. I seem to have a habit of listening to audiobooks while I'm going for or horror books while I'm going for walks, and I get through them that way, and it works out great. You probably saw some of my reactions. I'm going to put some of them in there. Even moving away from the political aspects of this book, it was brutal, and it was also disgusting. Like, it was disturbing, disgusting, brutal. And was it written by a man? Yes. Yes, it was. However, I can't say I enjoyed it. I appreciated a solid amount of it. But again, you need to know what you're getting into if you read this book. You really do. I am going to stick with that. You need to know what you're getting into, because that was a lot. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave this for now. I'm going to go work on some other things at the house. I'm going to go work on a couple other things. And then I'll come back and I'll do a wrap up of the 3 library books I read for this vlog that took way too long to film. Ah, okay. We'll talk in a bit. So that was a wild ride. I know I said that I was going to collect my thoughts and then come back to you with them. Those were my thoughts, in essence. They haven't really changed. But let me give you a little summary of what I read in this vlog. I started with The Library at Hellebore by Cassandra Khaw, and I gave this one a 4.75 out of 5. I did not end up giving it a 5-star. I gave it a 4.75. Absolutely love this one. Highly recommend. It is one that I have a coworker who's currently reading it, and she's asked me a couple questions about it because of how it's written. And as she's explaining it, I'm understanding why it wouldn't work for everybody. It works really well for me and how my brain comprehends things. I can see why it doesn't work for everybody. That makes sense. The second book that I read was Strange Places by Uketsu. I learned that this is a mystery. He is a Twitch streamer, I believe the author is, and this is what he does, like these kinds of fun puzzles. So I should not have been surprised. This was bad research on my part before actually getting in and reading this book. So the fact that it got a 3.5 that seems about correct, so yes. And the last book that I finished was Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5. That still might change. It's gonna take me several days to like conquer my thoughts on that book, not gonna lie. And I'm gonna need to read some cozy books in order to have that mentality. But I did end up, again, I can't say I enjoyed that book, but I appreciated it and it will be sticking with me. So overall, I would call this a highly successful reading vlog. Go support your local public library. We all appreciate it. And that's what I got for you guys here today. So if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, what other sorts of vlogs would you like to see from me? What kind of books? I have so many books on my shelves. I did a whole spreadsheet on what I have, and I have read less than half of the books I own. So we're gonna need to change that. That is the goal. But tell me what you think and what you would like me to read next. Is there a specific series you want to see me binge? Is there a theme you want to see me do? Let me know. I am here for it. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, keep reading, and keep moving forward. Bye.